Thanks, Jean. Yeah, I was all over the map. And that's maybe, is that trending now? That word bugs the heck out of me.
No, and your use of language is just, I don't want to be phony, it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. So my only regret is that I don't have a book to sit and go back and reread everything and sort of savor so much of that language. But I did get a good laugh about it, the insurance company bill.
Oh,
we sat here laughing. It's cruel, right?
0, 0, 0, 0, 0. It's just funny.
It was.
Yeah. Well, good to see you all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anne?
Hi, Marcia.
I wanted to say that I was so impressed by the, I guess you would say, the vitality and the life and the sort of free-range, untamed urges. At some point during your selection of poems, I found myself thinking, it's almost like we're in the company of 21st century Walt Whitman, whose name happens to be Anne Buxie.
That's very nice of you to say. Thank you, Marcia. Well, you know, when you pester Ron enough, you've got to really try and rise to the occasion, because I pestered that guy so much. You all know.
It's fine. And you can always repay me by growing a nice big Walt Whitman beard. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, my husband would just love that.
And I think Walt Whitman is right, but Walt Whitman of the Desert, the poem about the desert was so safe. It made me feel so safe, and the desert scares me. So I love that. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, it just, I don't know, that not for everybody maybe, but for me, the place I was raised certainly imprinted me with whatever it imprinted me with. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Anita. I'm eager to hear some other poems now, you guys.
Well, okay then. We can oblige.
Yeah.
Show of hands who's interested in reading this evening. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and myself. All right, I count 8, but if you change your mind, for or against, I will not hold it against you. So why don't we start with Eden?
And my desert sister. I loved your desert poem. I was just taken away by it. So I want to answer you with a little love poem to the desert. This is called Heretic. In drought, you come upon a bush newly blackened, its bones waving to no thing you can name. You carry your dowsing stick, but seek a sign other than water. After a storm, you hurry past a brimming pailful on your way to read the gullies, moved about by flood, for new configurations of stick and stone, a message if one knows how to look. The rain, already a distant curtain, is thick under clouds and fades near the ground. The desert reeks of wild musk. These gifts are all you ever wanted. This mad clay is all you ever loved. The way it cracks, but holds its story. Red ant, stink beetle traverse the crust. Even the drop of blood you spill beads and crawls over sand.
Thank you, Aunt. Thank you, Enid. Why don't we go with, I believe, Mary, you had your hand up, am I right? Great. Please, Mary.
I did. Okay.
Great.
I want to read a poem by a very good friend of mine, a poet who lived in Minneapolis and who died just very recently. And I was an Irish American poet. Her name was Ethna McKiernan. And her neighborhood was destroyed last summer during the riots in Minneapolis. And I was thinking about her today, watching the news. I can't breathe for George Floyd. All week, the helicopters rear and drone until they feel like wasps inside my head, until they lodge in hot bits inside my ribs, until they take me back to Vietnam when Jeff was dying high above the gauzy clouds in that Huey chopper. Sirens scream down the streets, and we smell the smoke that curls from torched buildings. Look at us, America in 2020. No different from the year we lynched Emmett Till in 1955. Today I mourn the death of George Floyd, whose neck was pinned for 9 minutes beneath the white cop's knee, until the only thing that could be heard was, "I can't breathe." I mourn the officers who didn't try to help him. I mourn everyone who didn't get the news in time to intervene or yell stop. For the residue of the lynching tree in the blood of those that killed him, for the brutal fires and looting that came next, for my dear neighborhood in ruins, and for the small businesses that just couldn't bear the weight, for the fury of provocateurs who torched peaceful protests with their hate. I toss up my own grenade of grief up to the sky. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Mary. My squares got moved around, but let me see if I have the right ones here. Marcia, were you one of the hands? You were not. Okay, so I apologize. I'm going to have to ask who would like to go next. Please. All right, so I've got Anita, and then we'll go to Florence, and then we'll go to Ron.
Okay, I unmuted. Can you hear me? So I'm glued to the television and watching the Ukraine. Much of our family, Myron's parents, grandparents, and mine, come from either Ukraine or that area. So I'm going to read an older poem, which is about my grandmother, who is from Minsk. And what I have on my mind, of course, is immigrants and refugees, and my grandmother, who came over in steerage after having just lost a baby in Minsk, came over alone and moved into a tenement in Manhattan. And this poem is called Only Dinner. Grandma Rose's cooking pot is too large to have been carried in steerage from Minsk. And a few years after she arrived, it was dented when it fell off a fire escape on the Lower East Side. Still, I have kept it for years as the only heirloom from Rose. I see it perched on the rusted tenement fire escape, cooling soup with boiled scraps of meat, waiting to feed her hungry family. My mother, Ida, the only girl child, helping in the kitchen. Her brothers, much older, out on the street. Her father, a day laborer, not yet home. And Rose, exhausted, homesick, grieving the child lost in the old country, lifts the peeling sash to reach the fire escape and carry the pot inside. but discovers it has fallen to the street below, soup splattered everywhere. She lumbers several flights down the steep, airless stairs to reclaim her empty pot, and in Yiddish mutters to herself, "It's only dinner. We will survive."
That's wonderful. 75% of my heritage is Eastern Polish and Ukrainian, so equally attached to what's going on right now. But, Florence, let us hear from you, please.
Okay. My poem is apolitical. And I wasn't going to read anything, but when Anne read a poem called Trending, I remember that I too have a poem called Trending. Trending. The reproductive behavior of hermaphroditic fishes is diversified and unpredictable. But neither they nor parthenogenetic lizards are known to practice shaming. Asexual bacteria are everywhere. There is truth regarding virgin births. Some scorpions and water fleas do not need sperm to reproduce. Only political cultures insist sexes are distinguishable by their genitalia. Human reproduction, a lower form of evolution, is tame by comparison. My grandchildren have matured, along with our complex technologies, but human reproduction has not changed much. Who will teach them the dance or the feathers and the drum? Change of pace.
That was fantastic. I really love that. Before we go on to Ron, I have one as well. But was there anyone else that had a hand up earlier? Fantastic. All right. So Ron, Bonnie, Charlotte, and Eileen, and iPhone.
And Wheezy.
And Wheezy. Jeepers.
Yes.
Okay.
And Suzanne.
All right.
Take me off the list.
Take you off the list. I get you now. Okay. So, got it. All right. Just want to make sure I have everyone. Okay. Ron.
Okay. So if you've been following the war in Ukraine, you've probably seen the Russian ambassador on TV. His name is Sergei Lavrov. And I read somewhere that he was a poet. So curiosity got the better of me, and I looked up one of his poems. I actually found it to be rather chilling. I'd like to read it for you now. He wrote this during the war in Serbia, Sarajevo, that conflict. And this is kind of a tribute to his mentor, another Russian diplomat by the name of Vitaly Ivanovich Churkin. And when you think about it, a diplomat's tools of the trade are words, just like a poet. But here we're seeing through the eyes of the other side. I found it to be rather sinister. So anyway, this is his tribute. Vitaly Ivanovich Churkin, through storms, snowfall, drifts, in the sights of NATO guns, and under the gaze of squinting Akashi from the United Nations, the diplomat stood his ground. Neither threats nor ultimatums broke his movement forward. The world applauds the diplomat, gives him praise deserved. You won't find a better moment to mark your birthday in battle. Special Ambassador of the President, you have done your work with honor. At the closing of the Bosnia battle, we drink to these manly deeds. With all our hearts, we congratulate you, Vitaly. happy birthday, our side won.